everyone. We are making, hello everyone. We are making Dutch babies today. Dutch babies are kind of an essential to your repertoire. It's a great dish. It's basically a big pancake that you bake in the oven. It takes basically 4 ingredients: milk, flour, eggs, and salt. That's it. And it looks spectacular. You can dress it up, you can dress it down. You can serve it for breakfast, brunch. You can make it sweet, or actually a small, a light dinner. You can make it sweet, you can make it savory. There are lots of things you can do with it, and it always looks good. It looks good when it comes out of the oven, and when it deflates, and which it will when you take it out and leave it on the counter for a while, even when it's deflated, it tastes divine. So let's start. Okay, the main thing you have to have is some sort. Now you can make Dutch babies with a whisk, but it's a little bit more labor intensive. I use a blender. You can use a blender. You can use a food processor. You can do it however you want to do it. It's sort of one of those things like, oh my God, I need a dessert. Let's do this. Okay, so the first thing you do is turn on the oven and stick a pan into the oven. Now, I'm going to do it a little differently because I already have one in the oven right now. And I'm going to use this pan, which is oven safe, 425 degrees. Now, it helps if you have a cast iron skillet. You're going to see that in a minute. But you can use a non-stick pan like this one if you have, if it's oven safe. You don't want to have something that the handle will melt. Turn the oven on, blast it hot. It needs to be hot when you start. And what you do is you put 3 eggs into your blender. Now, again, if this can be dressed up, dressed down, it can be cut in half or into smaller portions. If you have 6 people who need brunch, you can have 5 eggs, 6 eggs. It's 1 egg, 1/4 cup of milk, 1/4 cup scant of flour, and a little salt. Then you can either bump it up. Now I'm doing 3 eggs. So here we go. 3 eggs. And 3/4 of a cup of milk. I do a pinch of salt because I can, it's like a half a teaspoon of salt, or a teaspoon, between a half a teaspoon and a teaspoon, and a scant 3/4 cup of flour. That's it. Unless you want it sweet and has a particular taste, then you put in vanilla and sugar. But I'm not going to bother. I'm going to make a sweet one without putting sugar into the mixture. Then you turn it on for about 10 seconds, more or less. Then you scrape down the sides, make sure there's nothing stuck anywhere. Turn it back on for another 10 seconds. You now have your batter done. Now, the recipes that I have always say, let it sit for 20 minutes. Okay? Sometimes I've just put this right into the pan. It has really not made that big a difference, okay? Just letting you know, you don't have to have it in the pan nearly, I mean, you don't have to rest it for that long. Now I'm going to heat this pan up and now you can heat up the pan in the oven. When you turn on the oven, put the pan in. But I'm going to be heating this up on top of the stove, which is perfectly fine. The reason I'm doing that is because I've got one in the oven that I'm going to take out in about 4 minutes, and you will see what it looks like. It's totally easy, totally, you know. I'm heating up the pan so that when the batter goes into the pan, it hits a hot pan, okay? That's kind of important for the way it's going to end up looking. Though, again, it's very forgiving. If you don't do that, it'll still taste mighty fine. So we've got it heating up, and that's where you put the butter once it gets heated up. The butter has to melt in a hot pan. I used to put it into the pan when I put it in the oven, and I ended up burning the butter more often than not. It's a lot easier just to heat up the pan in the oven, take it out, melt the butter in it, and then stick it back in the oven. You want the oven to stay as hot as possible. And you'll see why in a minute. Okay, so got this heating up, and I'm going to put the amount, okay, the amount of butter really depends on you. This is about 3 tablespoons, more or less, in there. And I'm heating up the butter, melting the butter. Okay. So the pan is very hot. The butter is melting. Now I know I said 20 minutes. Do what you need to do. And here it goes in to the pan like this. And this is what it looks like when it comes out. Magic. Doesn't that look lovely? It's just gorgeous. And it's very spectacular. Now, as soon as it hits the cool air of your kitchen, cooler air of your kitchen, it's going to start deflating, but it doesn't matter. What do you put on it? Well, what I'm going to put on it, I'm going to take it out of the pan, put it on a plate, and try not to burn myself completely. Put this away. Isn't that lovely? And the traditional thing that goes on this, traditional in my house, I don't know whether it's traditional otherwise, is lemon juice. I have the juice of a lemon, which I'm going to put all over it like this. Powdered sugar. And a little bit of fresh fruit. This will serve for, well, actually it will serve 2 people, which is what I think it should serve, is 2 people. But and you just cut it into wedges. It's very crispy on the bottom because of that lovely pan. What?
No. Okay.
And there you go. Beautiful. And this will, this is a really good dessert. It's also a brunch dish. You know, that center part, you can fill it with any number of things. Now, if you want it sweet, you can fill it with Nutella, lemon curd, let's see, maple syrup, and powdered sugar. If it's sweet, I would just dust it with powdered sugar, serve it in wedges, and then have different toppings. If fresh fruit goes really well with this. If you want it savory, like for a light snack or a brunch dish, a savory brunch dish, lox, cream cheese, chives, stewed mushrooms, mushrooms and gravy, sausage, scrambled eggs. It's very versatile. And you saw how I made it. There's practically nothing to it. And you can get it done like that. You can have several. If you've got a bigger oven than I do, you can serve more than just 4 people. Or if you choose to, just double the recipe, make 6 eggs, do it in a big skillet, and you can serve 6 people easily. I kind of do like 1 egg per person, between 1 and 2, 1.5 eggs per person. This makes 4 really quite good servings. And that's all there is to it. And I know that this is super easy, but it's definitely something that's worth having in your toolbox because you can do so much with it and in so many situations. I know I've made it when people have dropped in for breakfast. I know. But people do drop in for breakfast at my house, don't they, Carrie? And I've made it for people that have dropped in. And if you have a free oven, it's great for dessert as well. People like it a lot. So there you have it. And I know it was like crazy easy, but and I know this is really short, but that's sort of the point. Does anybody have any questions or anything to say? Carrie?
So I noticed when I poured the batter into my hot skillet, so I have the cast iron, I did a little cast iron, so I did 2 eggs. And that when I poured in the batter, 2 things happened. One, the bottom immediately cooked a little bit. That was intentional. And then the butter kind of came up over the batter, and that's normal too, right?
That's exactly what you want.
Okay.
Exactly what you want. You want something that, and you can add more butter if you're like really into butter. It's one of those really good things. And no matter how it comes out of the oven, it looks spectacular. It just looks like, woo, wow. I mean, this is what it's looking like after sitting out for about 10 minutes. It's
How long did you bake it for, Kate?
20 minutes. But, if it doesn't look brown enough, you can take it out at 25. You kind of keep an eye on it after about 17, 18 minutes. It was 20 minutes. You heard the buzzer go. It was 20 minutes from when I put it in. And
it's perfect, just perfect.
Also, you can apple, slice up apple, throw a little bit of water in there, peel and slice it, put it in slices, put it at the bottom of the pan, cook it down just about 5 minutes, put a little sugar on it, maybe if you want, you don't have to, and then cook it until it's a little bit soft. Apple or pear or peaches. And then pour in the batter around the apples. So you then have an apple cake. So that's another that's another thing that I've done. This is it's just super easy. I also was thinking about it. I think I have made it in a square pan, not a skillet. I've made it in a square pan, which makes it a little bit weird looking, but it can serve more people more easily. So I have once, I think, I know I have, but I don't remember when, that I did do that into an oblong pan and used something like 8 or 10 eggs for that. So there you have it. That's a Dutch baby. And from what I understand, the Dutch baby was kind of one of those things from the East Coast where somebody was listening, used Deutsch and said that it's Dutch rather than German. My sister was telling me that it's called a German pancake. But I don't know exactly where it came from, but I'm pretty sure it was from Germany rather than Dutch, rather than from Holland. But you can, make up a story about it. Why not? Do whatever you want. Nobody is going to know. Any other questions? Any other suggestions? I know, Carol, you've made it.
It's the only thing that I know that looks as good as it does in the pictures when I do it all the time. And for me, things usually taste good. They just don't look right.
Yeah. And the thing that's nice about this, now sometimes when I put it in, it'll go up like that. Sometimes it won't. So, it's like, okay, whatever, I'll just go with it. Everybody has always been impressed. It's always impressive. So, and if you want impression without work, this is the thing for you. I mean, this is the easiest thing I think I've ever I think I've made in this whole show. It doesn't involve anything magical. So, well, there you have it. Dutch babies. Anybody else? Susan?
I was just thinking that it's essentially the same batter as your Yorkshire,
Yes.
Yeah.
but instead of using butter, you're melting the hot fat and then throwing it in, and it comes out the same way.
It's very much popovers or, anything like that. It's the same thing, and it's leavened by the eggs.
Right, like apple skeevers. That's, I've had it, I've had that, the pup with it before.
They're different. My kids, my grandkids called them round pancakes, and I made them every Sunday for years. Able skeevers are a different batter.
Yeah, and a different culture.
And a different culture too. Yeah, they really are Netherlands. So
They are Danish.
I
Danish,
think are Amish, I think.
Danish. They're from Denmark. So anyway, there you have it. And next week, I don't know. I'll have to surprise you. I was thinking maybe we do a savory, something like pasta primavera or spring, or I don't know. I'll surprise you.
Something light, just something, to go with the heat.
The heat, yes, it's pretty hot around here.
Yeah. Turning on the oven is not ideal.
Well, go outside. There you go. I did not think that it was going to be quite this hot.
Yeah.
Last week.
How hot is it?
It's here. It's wait a minute. It's 80 degrees.
Oh. It's
Yeah.
only here.
Wow.
Pasadena, it's
And I think in Pasadena, 84. Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It was 72 last week, so that's why I thought.
It was perfect. by-
66 here.
Oh, there you go.
Well, it was perfect by the harbor today
Nice.
in Santa Cruz.
I hope you enjoy this. I hope you make it. I think the people. Now, I have been known to make it with 2 eggs and eat the entire thing myself. Do that.
Like
I
something
was
like
just thinking that.
yeah.
If you don't have somebody to cook for, 2 eggs in a smaller skillet might be fine. Let's see what's happening in the oven right now. Oh, I'm gonna stick it back in there for in a minute. But you see,
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna let it brown a little bit more. So it's all kind of
Ooh.
and
Oh.
yeah. Are you?
So mine's been in there 14 minutes.
Uh-huh.
Let me show.
Be careful. It's very hot.
I know I'm trying to find my thickest because I grabbed it earlier and I was like, I feel that. Okay.
Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous?
Is it ready or does it? No? Okay.
Get a little bit browner on top.
Okay.
A little bit browner. Because if you took it out now, it would really collapse like,
Okay.
Which is, again, that's fine. But you want it kind of more brown and crispy on the edges. So put it in for another 5 minutes and you're all set.
Cool.
There you go. Have a great week, everybody. And I will see you next week. I'll let you know what we're fixing. It'll be something light and gorgeous and wonderful. I made trifle last night for my friend came over.
I miss Chuck.
Yeah. And Dan was here and he ate half of that bowl of trifle.
Well, I'm making for dinner tonight. I wanted to do our salmon cakes, but I'm gonna use shrimp.
Oh, That's great.
That
See what
sounds
happens.
good.
So I'm gonna do shrimp cake.
Carrie, I am so proud of you. You have turned into this great, like cook. You look at your refrigerator and say, what can I fix? And, oh, well, I want to do something else. That's the whole point of this. Nothing matters.
It's the it doesn't matter. Like I can find the stuff and go, okay, and
Let's see, what am I going to do with this? Yeah. Different than I did last week.
right.
Whatever. Yeah. Excellent.
I love it.
Everybody. Bonnie, I'm so happy that you are our political person. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
We love our union.
We
Yeah.
love you. And Barry, I hope you're feeling well.
I'm better. My back was bad yesterday, but it's better today. So yeah, that whiplash stuff.
And Susan, mwah.
Thank you, Kate, so much.
Oh, you are welcome. And thank you, Carol, and of course, Carrie. You couldn't do it without you.
It was fun.
Kate, don't forget to take yours out of the oven.
I will not. It's
Okay.
building. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care.
See you guys next week. Have a wonderful week.
Have a great week. Be good.